Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone, wherever you're at in the world. Welcome to Last Rounds Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we are bringing you a matchup of two potential playoff teams in the Central League. It is the third place Yokohama DeNA BayStars at the number 4 seed Chunichi Dragons. As this game here, only three games separate the two teams here. And we are looking forward to having you guys with us here tonight. We are going to be on with the same two teams tomorrow night, so back-to-back games. So if you are around the channel, be sure to stop in and check us out and hang out with us while we do the Dragons and the BayStars again. But first of all, we're going to give you the starting lineups for the visitors from Yokohama. Leading off tonight and in right field is number 61, Tetsuo Ibina. Batting second in center field is number 1, Masayuki Kuwahara. Hitting third and left field is number 7, Kaida Sano. And the cleanup spot at first base is number 3, Tyler Austin. Batting fifth and playing third base tonight is number 51, Toshiro Miyazaki. Batting sixth and doing the catching is number 50, Yudai Yamamoto. Hitting seventh at second base, wearing 00 is Takuma Hayashi. Batting eighth and playing shortstop is number 9, Yoda Kyoda. And batting ninth and doing the pitching tonight is number 12, Yu Takeda. And they are going to be facing Hiroto Takahashi, who takes to the hill with a 5-8 record. He has worked 127 in the third innings. He's allowed 104 hits, 40 runs, 37 of which have been earned. He has walked 38 and struck out 98, pitching to a 2.62 earned run average. Well, that's your starting lineup for the visitors from Yokohama. Now your starting lineup for the Chunichi Dragons. Leading off in center field is number 1, Yuki Okibayashi. Hitting second and playing second base tonight is number 2, Makiya Tanaka. Batting third and right field is number 51, Seiji Ubiashi. And the cleanup spot and in left field is number 55, Seiya Hosokawa. Batting fifth at first base is number 24, Jason Vossler. Batting sixth and playing third base tonight, wearing number 23, is Michael Chavis. And the seventh spot and playing shortstop is number 60, Yasuhiro Yamamoto. Batting eighth and doing the catching is Takuma Kato. He'll wear number 49. And batting ninth is the pitcher, number 19, Hiroto Takahashi. And they're going to be facing Yu Takeda, who makes his NPB debut tonight for the BayStars. He was the first overall pick in the 2024 draft by Yokohama. He was their number 1 pick. I shouldn't say first overall. He was their number 1 pick. He had been pitching in the industrial leagues, and he is not a young fella. He just turned 26 years old. So he is taking to the hill tonight for Yokohama. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with all the action. It is our friend Big Frank's in the house. Mike is here. Luke, not to mention our friend Harrison, and hopefully everybody else will pour into the stream here tonight to listen to the BayStars and the Dragons. We'll be back in just a couple moments right after this timeout. The Dragons have taken the field. The first pitch has just been completed, and we are just a couple moments away for the first pitch of the ball game. We'll be right back in 30 seconds after we introduce you to our good friend Steve Rademacher.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy, sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Welcome back, everybody. It is the right-hander Takahashi who is just completing his warm-up tosses, and we are about ready to get this one underway as it'll be Ibina, Kuwahara, and Sano to come to bat. Our friends that are in here, he says, the Mets suck and it's our last resort, says Harrison. And he says, the guy doing announcing can see the chat? Absolutely we can, and we're ready to rock and roll here. As the first pitch of the ball game is about ready to happen as Takahashi has just completed his tune-up tosses. He has gone no less than 6 innings in his last 3 starts, and he had 132 pitches in his last start. So not something that the Japanese shy away from. We were talking about it earlier that finally some pitchers in the big leagues were making over 110-plus pitches in their starts. As it was for a long while just Eric Fetty and Framber Valdez. Now you can add a couple more to that list in Gavin Williams. Our friend Derek Charbonneau in the house tonight, and we are ready to get this one underway. Tetsuno Ibina stepping in. He's batting .269 on the year, 4 homers and 23 RBIs. He takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Ibina. Ibina batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Takahashi. BayStars are in their dark blue tops, or I'd say as dark as they have it. Dark royal blue maybe. White pants. There was a fastball swung on it. Is grounded into the deep hole at shortstop. It was a diving backhand by Yamamoto, but he's not going to be able to make the play, and Ibina is going to get himself a leadoff single. So Ibina, who started the year just miserably for the BayStars, has been putting it together lately, and that'll pump his average up over the 270 mark. And that is going to bring to the bat the center fielder number 1, Masayuki Kuwahara. Well, for Kuwahara on the season, he's batting .268, 3 homers and 13 runs batted in, as he gets himself into the batter's box and ready to go. He also bats from the right side here against the right-hander Takahashi. As the right-hander gets the sign, he checks the runner over at first. He holds to the set position. And now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined on one hop to the second baseman. Nice job to chest it up and keep it in front by the second baseman Tanaka, but he's unable to turn a double play. They're going to get a fielder's choice. It's going to retire Ibina at second. He's in the books 4-6 for the first out. Safe on the backside is Kuwahara. He still runs pretty good. And that is going to bring up the left fielder in Kaida Sano. And well, for Sano tonight, he's batting .279, 12 homers to go with 52 runs batted in. Sano batting from the left side. He's enjoying himself a pretty good year. He gets the start tonight in left field. When Tyler Austin hasn't been in the lineup, Sano usually slots in over at first base. As the right-hander Takahashi comes to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses up for ball 1, and the count is 1-0. Defensively tonight for the Dragons from left to right field, Hosokawa is in left, Okabayashi in center, and the right fielder is Ubiyashi. Around the horn from first to third, Jason Vossler is at first. The second baseman is Tanaka. At short, it is Yamamoto, with Michael Chavis over at third, with Takahashi and Kato as the battery. And there's a breaking ball that misses outside. Count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. We will be back on the airwaves tomorrow night for the same 2 ball clubs. I'll have to go over and take a quick peek. I do believe they have announced the starters for tomorrow. We'll get an idea of what that will feature on a Sunday afternoon game. Here comes the 2-0 pitch. Fastball swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 2-1 on Sano. Just looking ahead to tomorrow, as we said, usually they make that fairly quick announcement. And it is going to be Takahiro Matsuba against Shintaro Fujinami. So that game is going to go off tomorrow, a half hour earlier. I've got to adjust our start time on it. That game is slated to go off at 9:30 Pacific. So Shintaro Fujinami, the former Met / Oakland A, amongst other teams, as that fastball misses outside, it's now gone to 3-1 on Sano. Harrison says, what's happened with Bauer? Not sure what's going on at the moment with him. He was leading the league in strikeouts going into this week. So it's not like he's hot garbage, but he has had his struggles. There's Zach in the house. Welcome. Here comes the 3-1 pitch as the right-hander holds set, now delivers. Fastball swung on it, has popped up over on the third base side. Giving chase is the catcher Cato, but he's going to watch it drift into the seats. It's going to run the count full on Sano. It's not been a great year for Takahashi this year, who's sitting at the mark below 500 at a 5-8 record. But there have been, especially after last season, he had a pretty steady year. So here comes the offering to the left-handed hitting Sano. 3-2 on the way. Takahashi delivers. Fastball swung on, lifted into the left center field, giving chase, and it's going to get down, and it's going to get all the way to the wall. Rounding third and heading home is the running Kuwahara. The throw's going to come in, but there's no throw to the plate. It's going to get cut off, and that is going to be an RBI for Sano, and the BayStars have opened up the scoring here early, 1-0, on a double off the bat of Kaita Sano. Hit the ground, and it just kept rolling forever. It looked like it was a split-finger pitch that just hung up too much. And a good piece of hitting there by Sano as he stayed inside the ball and drove it the other way. And Kuwahara, who has some good wheels all the way around from first base with the first run of the ball game for Yokohama. And that is going to bring up the American Tyler Austin. Well, Tyler Austin stepping to the plate. Batting .246 on the year, 5 homers and 15 RBIs. He's been on and off the injured list. He has been having issues with his lower half. But when he's played, he has been decent. Here's the first pitch. It's a fastball taken for a called strike. But more importantly, they need him to get hot down the stretch and take it into the playoffs with them. So no balls and 1 strike it is to Austin. Not sure he necessarily liked that particular call on the first pitch, but it did catch the outside corner as far as we're concerned. So Austin here waggling the bat, waiting on the offering here from the right-hander. Have to say Takahashi works very, very slowly. There's a breaking ball, misses down. Good stop there by Kato. And the count stays even to 1-1. Sano had to hold his ground at second base. Harrison says, tell Zach how good the BayStars bullpen is. I don't know. It's decent. It's decent. In a 12-team league, it's decent. I'd say it's in the top 5. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. And it's a fastball swung on. This is grounded foul just past the bag at first base. Count goes to 1-2 on Tyler Austin. Just a little bit late on that one was Austin. He got it off the end of the bat. Good pitch to hit. There's a couple of pitches in this bat I think Austin might want to have back. Harrison says that the Mets bullpen is worse than the Swallows. Those are facts. The Mets are struggling right now. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the right-hander holds to the set and now delivers. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed, and Austin is in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. Yeah, that's going to leave it all up to the third baseman, Toshiro Miyazaki. Well, for Miyazaki, he steps to the plate. He's hitting .277 on the year. He's got 4 homers and 33 runs batted in. As Miyazaki steps in, adjusts himself, and he's ready to go here. Power numbers on the decline, batting average on the decline. A couple of years ago, he was off to a massive start. Batted close to 400 for much of the first half of the year. I think those days are well in the rearview mirror. There is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count quickly goes to 0-1 on Miyazaki. Full slate of games tonight across the NPB, but there are some of the games, as we mentioned earlier, that will be going off a little bit later. Harrison asked, how many games back are they from the Giants? We put that in the chat earlier on, 2.5. And then everybody's double digits behind the Tigers. But really, realistically speaking, it'll be interesting to see how the Tigers finish the month here. They're pretty much on the road for the whole month of August with the Koshin tournament, the high school tournament that takes over the Koshin Stadium. As the right-hander holds to the set. And here's the pitch. It's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball on 1 strike. As we said, the last 2 games for Takahashi's gone over 100 pitches in each of them. And so I would expect tonight that won't be a number that the Dragons will shy away from. As the right-hander holds set, now delivers. There's a split finger swung on and missed. And Miyazaki now is in the hole at 1-2. Mike said, does anyone know how the Summer Koshin tournament is progressing so far? I don't. For some reason, I did hear, and I can't confirm, but I think there was news early in the tournament that a team withdrew or was booted out of the tournament. I really never got the gist of why. But I understand there was a problem with one of the teams, and that was sort of the big news to get things going. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is looped on one hop over to the right side, fielded by Vossler. He throws to first, and that is going to retire Miyazaki. It's going to go in the books as a ground out 3-1 for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it. 1 run in the inning for Yokohama as they open the scoring on 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. We're through a half inning. Your score is the Yokohama DeNA BayStars 1 and the Chunichi Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back for listening in on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back after this timeout. Back, everyone. It is going to be the bottom half of the first inning, and the right-hander Takeda is completing his tune-up tosses as we'll be ready to get this one back underway. Takeda making his NPB debut. As you said, he's 26 years old. He was at high school and a university player, but it was Mitsubishi Heavy Industries West who he was playing for in the Independent League, where he ended up getting drafted out of. So interesting. He has taken the long route to get to the NPB. And the first pitch is a fastball swung on. It is lifted into deep left field, giving chase and making a beautiful over the shoulder catch as the left fielder, kind of Sano. So Sano doing it with the bat and now with the glove. And so with one pitch, we have one away here, and that is going to bring up the second baseman, Makiya Tanaka. I have to say, I saw Okabayashi play a couple years ago with my own eyes when I was in Hiroshima, and he is smooth to watch. He can really play a good center field. He runs really well. His batting average is decent. I'd like to see him be a little bit more of a table setter. There is a fastball that misses up, and the count is 1-0. I'd like to see his numbers inflate a bit more. As the 1-0 pitch on the way, there's a fastball that's taken at the knees for a called strike. The count goes to 1-1 on Tanaka. So Takeda, with the moxie of a veteran pitching in front of the home crowd. Here comes the 1-1 offering. Breaking ball misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-1. I often wonder when you have a player like this who's a little bit older, what the largest crowd he may have pitched in front of before. As the 2-1 is on the way. There is a breaking ball swung on. It's grounded to third. Miyazaki fields it neatly. He throws to first. And that is going to retire Tanaka. It's going to go in the books as a ground out 5-3 for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the right fielder in Seiji Ubiashi. Well, that brings Ubiashi to the plate, who's hitting .266, 13 homers and 37 RBIs, arguably having his best season in about 7 or 8 years since he was with the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle, and that ball's got eyes as it's going to get into center field. And that is going to put Ubiashi aboard, and that'll bring up the left fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. So the first base runner allowed by Takeda. And now we'll get the chance to see him pitch out of the stretch. It was a tough pitch. Looked like it was a little bit down. But Ubiashi stayed on it and able to knock it past the shortstop, who was shaded a little bit up the middle anyways. Well, defensively tonight for Yokohama, from left to right field. In left field, it is Sano. The center fielder is Kuwahara. And right field, it's Ibina. Around the horn from first to third, Austin is at first. The second baseman is Hayashi. At short, it's Kyoto. The third baseman is Miyazaki, with the battery of Takeda and Yamamoto. And here comes the pitch. It's a slow breaking ball that misses way upstairs, and the count is 1-0 to Hosokawa. Hosokawa enjoying a nice year with a .261 average, 11 homers and 33 RBIs, but he is a little bit off the pace of his numbers he's produced the last couple of years. Has spent some time on the injured list. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes even at 1-1. So he is probably, assuming he plays in all the games the rest of the way, probably ends up with around probably about 110 games played, I would think. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. Right-hander delivers. Breaking ball swung on and fouled right into the legs of Hosokawa. It looked like it got him on the back leg, a spot where you typically don't wear a shin guard. We'll get the replay on that. Oh, not only did it hit the back leg, it got him just below the kneecap. That'll definitely leave a mark. So it's 1-2 strikes to Hosokawa. Right-hander Takeda ready to go again as he leans in and gets the sign from his catcher. Checks the runner over at first, and now he works himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-2. Instead, he throws over to first, and diving back easily is Ubiashi. You do have to keep your eye on Ubiashi. He's got 19 stolen bases this year. As I mentioned, approaching not just career highs in certain statistical categories, but looking with all the time left in the year, setting new highs. Here's the 1-2. There goes the runner. It's a fastball. It's taken inside. The throw goes down. It's not in time. Sliding in safely is Ubiashi. I kind of wonder if the umpire got screened on that call. The pitch looked like it was fairly decent. I thought it might have been potential for a called third strike, but not so. Ubiashi's going to get his 20th stolen base of the year. Throw was up high as the shortstop had to really bring it down to apply the tag. As now he has moved into second spot on the year with his 20th stolen base. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Hosokawa. Kobayashi had moved with that stolen base, is now in scoring position. As the right-hander again works to the set. Here comes the 2-2. Kicks and delivers. Fastball misses down and away, and the count goes to 3-2. Waiting his turn on deck is the American Jason Vossler. So 3 balls and 2 strikes is what it is. As again, Takeda gets the sign from his catcher. They are shading Hosokawa a little bit to the left side of the infield. And the pitch is a fastball swung on, grounded to short, fielded by Kyoto. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. Hosokawa down on a ground out, 6-3, and that's going to do it here for the third out of the inning. No runs in the inning. There was a Dragons hit. There was no errors, and there was 1 runner left aboard. We are through 1 complete. It is the BayStars 1. The Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back with all the action in just a little bit right after this on the Last Rounds Baseball YouTube channel. Hang tight.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Yuta Yamamoto, Takuma Hayashi, and Yota Kyoto to come to bat here to face the right-hander Hiroto Takahashi. Will begin his second inning of work. 17 pitches for the right-hander through his first inning, as we are ready to get this one back underway. Again, the right-hander ready to go. Batting .256 is Yamamoto. He's got a homer and 35 RBIs. Takes a first pitch fastball for a called strike. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander working himself to the belt. And he kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball that misses way upstairs. The count goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball, 1 strike. As we mentioned, back on the airwaves again tomorrow, same 2 teams. As well, it'll be a half-hour earlier start. We have to make the adjustment on our scheduled start time. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is belted in deep left field. This ball could be trouble, and this ball is going to be gone as it is Yamamoto hitting his second homer of the year right into the supporters section of the BayStars. As he rounds the bases, a solo shot here to start the second inning. It is now a 2-0 game for Yokohama. So if you are joining us here, I don't know if we've ever had anybody who has acknowledged being a Dragons fan in our stream. It's usually BayStars. People like the Carp. They like the Dragons from the Central. And, of course, we got Swallows fans, but I don't know of anybody who is a fan of the Dragons. Well, this brings Takuma Hayashi to the plate. And the first pitch to Hayashi misses inside for a ball. The count is 1-0. Hayashi batting .250 on the year with a homer and 7 RBIs. There's a question, is there an import limit per team? As there's a fastball that catches the inside corner and the count goes to 1-1. The answer to that is yes. You can have 4 players on a game sheet. You can't have more than 3 in the game at one time. But with that being said, under contract, you can have as many as you like. A couple of seasons ago, the Hanshin Tigers had 8 foreigners signed to professional contracts as there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Count is 1-2. It makes it kind of difficult. Unless, of course, maybe it's 3 offensive players and 5 pitchers. When you have 5 pitchers, if you have a starter or a couple of starters and 3 relievers, you can start moving guys in and out of your regular lineup. As there's a breaking ball that misses outside, and the count goes to 2-2. But if you had more than 4 positional players, I think that could cause a bit of a problem. Here comes the 2-2 pitch as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is sliced down the left field line, and it's going to get into the seats. Count remains at 2-2. Derek Charbonneau says that there goes his over of 1.5 already here in the second inning. And there's a fastball that misses up and away, and the count now goes full to Hayashi. Yeah, certainly didn't take long for the over to fall in this one. I don't know if it's going to be a run festival, but I can see this being a 5-3 game or a 6-4 type of ball game. As the 3-2 on the way, there's a fastball swung on, and it's fought off well by Hayashi as he fouls it off over on the third base side. The question comes in, is this being played at the Dome in Nagoya? Yes, it is, at the Vantolin Dome. Dragons are the home team here in this one tonight. 3-2 on the way. Fastball swung on, chopped over to third. Chavis fields it. He fires to first, and that is going to retire Hayashi on a groundout, 5-3. So there is 1 in the books, and that'll bring up the shortstop in Yota Kyoto. I have to apologize to our Japanese friend as I don't know kanji, can't read kanji. So obviously we don't know your name, but maybe we'll just refer to him as the Japanese friend in our chat. Well, that brings Yota Kyoto to the plate. And the first offering to Kyoto is a split finger pitch that's waved at and missed, and the count quickly goes to 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Kyoto batting .235 on the air homer and 13 RBIs as the pitch is on the way. Split finger swung on and missed. The count goes to 0-2. For those of you who are listening in, I was catching some highlights of the movie that Tom Selleck was in a number of years ago when he played in the movie for the Chunichi Dragons. It's kind of cool to see that movie. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. I think I might take the time and watch it. I believe it was Mr. Baseball. Tomorrow night's game will go off at 9:30 Pacific time or 12:30 Eastern. It's a half hour earlier start. Fastball misses upstairs to Kyoto, and the count goes to 2-2. Hanzi, Chinese letters, but Japanese use 3 different sets of characters. Hanzi is not one of those. So that answers that. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as the right-hander again works to the set. And here's the pitch. It is a split finger pitch swung on and missed. And Kyoto's in the books. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the pitcher in Yu Takeda. Well, for Takeda, there's going to be a lot of firsts tonight. It's his first NPB at bat. As we mentioned, it not only was it his first NPB at bat, but it was his first appearance on the hill here, too. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. And the count is quickly 0-1. Zach says he's tapping out already. And the game is just getting going. So here comes the 0-1 pitch as the right-hander kicks and fires. Breaking ball misses upstairs. The count goes to 1-1. Our pronunciation is good. We should learn the language. Possibly so. We're going to be in Taiwan in a week's time. It's going to be a week and 3.5 hours, as we'll be flying over. There's a split finger pitch, but they speak Mandarin. And so I'm going to have to do a crash course over the next week on how to pick up some Mandarin. Derek says it's now 5-0 for the Marines. Fastball misses down and away, and the count goes to 2-2. Even the worst teams can win a ball game, especially in professional baseball. I remember years ago, I believe it was Tommy Lasorda said teams are going to win a third of their games and they're going to lose a third of their games. And what's going to define them is the middle third. And those are facts. Here's the 2-2. It is a split finger pitch that's waved at and missed. Takita's down on strikes. He's gone for the third out of the inning. So his first at bat ends with a strikeout. But the Yokohama DeNA BayStars add to their lead. 1 run, 1 hit on the home run by Yamamoto. No errors and nobody left the board. Your score as we move to the bottom of the second inning, it is the BayStars 2, the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few right after this timeout. Appreciate you guys for hanging in here with us on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. Be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters to come to bat here for the Dragons in inning number 2. It'll be Vossler, Chavis, and Yamamoto as they will be ready to face the right-hander Takita for the second time. Our friend asked if I am in the Lower Mainland, but I'm a ways away from Delta, as Delta has produced some pretty good baseball in recent years. So depending upon how old your son is, certainly there is some quality ball that is in and around that area. And we are almost ready to resume the action here as the right-hander is completing his tune-up tosses. As Vossler ready to step to the box. Vossler and Chivas back-to-back. Interesting, Chivas has only played in 14 games, and he's already got 3 home runs. He hasn't posted a big average yet, but he has made some instant impact here for the Chunichi Dragons. Our friend Michael Hooks is in the house, and Zach is giving us the updates. Well, Zach, 1:30 a.m., you're definitely not the life of the party, and if you're a friend of Harrison's, I'm sure that I would have to say you're probably got to stick around a little bit longer. Harrison over there, he can hold it down a bit. 1:30 is early for East Coasters. Well, here we go, back to the live action as Vossler steps to the plate, hitting .248 with 10 homers and 49 runs batted in. And the first pitch is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count quickly goes to 0-1. Vossler, I think at this rate here, he may have done enough to earn himself a job again next year in the NPB. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count goes to 0-2. Never could really hold it down in the big leagues. As the 0-2 pitch ready to come, as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. They appeal to the third base umpire, but they say it didn't go, and that runs the count to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, the right-hander ready to go as he again works to the set. Kicks and delivers. There is a fastball swung on. It has popped up down the third base line, giving chase, and in foul territory there to make the catch is Miyazaki, and that is going to retire Vossler for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away. It'll bring up the third baseman and Michael Chavis. As we said, Chavis is only batting .200. He's 10 for 50, 3 homers and 5 runs batted in. Our friend My Cool Hooks was talking about the San Francisco Giants. That's his team. They are definitely fading fast in the National League West. There's a first pitch breaking ball swung on and fouled away. Count is 0-1. Chavez, of course, spent time with the Pittsburgh Pirates, amongst other teams. I was doing a little bit of research on him this week. He is a interesting fella, as there's a breaking ball missing up and in. He's a pretty religious fella. I don't know if he's born again Christian or if he is, but he is very, very religious. Every time he steps back in the box, he crosses himself. He has this routine. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. There's the breaking ball swung on, and it's grounded foul over on the third base side. The count now goes to 1-2. And he feels very fortunate in reading to get another opportunity to go across over to Japan to be able to play. So 1-2 strikes as, again, the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that just misses up and away. Count goes even to 2-2. There's good misses and there's bad misses, and that was a good miss, as the right-hander tried to induce a swing. There's a split finger pitch that misses down, and the count goes to 3-2. 3 strikes. Again, the right-hander works to the set. And now kicks and delivers. There's a fastball. It's taken for a called third strike. Oh, Chavez stood there like the house by the side of the road. He watched that one go by for out number 2. So 2 quick outs, and that's going to leave it up to the shortstop and Yasuhiro Yamamoto. And I have to tell you, that's where the import players have to bring their A game. A pitch that's there on the outside part of the plate. If it was a Japanese player, you might get that call. When you're an import player, the level of expectation is a little bit more. You might not be getting the calls like the domestic guys do when there's a breaking ball that misses down. And the count is 1-0 to Yamamoto. Yamamoto hitting .245 on the year. Takes a breaking ball for a called strike, and the count goes even to 1-1. There's 14 RBIs for the shortstop of the Dragons, as the right-hander again working into the motion, and he kicks and delivers. Fastball swung on. This is fouled off over on the first base side of home plate, and the count now goes to 1-2. Fairly effective first inning for the rookie right-hander, only 12 pitches, and he's been fairly economical so far in this inning too. Anytime you can keep it pitches an inning, you're on the right track. Here's the 1-2 pitch. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is grounded foul over on the third base side, and the count is going to remain at 1-2 to Yamamoto. So 1-2 strikes. And then after tomorrow's Japanese game, we're going to do Monday and Tuesday. We'll do the Padres and the Giants, the return leg, the first 2 games of that series. As the 1-2 is on the way, there's a fastball that misses down. The count goes to 2-2. And then after that, we're going to be dark for a little bit, as we are, as we mentioned, going to be over in Taiwan. And my goal would be actually to produce some videos while I'm over there. That's what the goal has been the last couple of years. Our Dodger fan is in the house. Welcome back. As the 2-2 pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball. Take it for a called third strike. And that is going to retire Yamamoto for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it as they go 1-2-3 are the Dragons. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left aboard. You are now through 2 complete innings. It is Yokohama 2, the Dragons no score. We'll take a timeout and go look for the guy who keeps asking for the pitch counts. Who knows where he is? Wants to know if he's over 100 and some odd pitches in the second inning. We've had enough of that guy, and hopefully he won't be back anytime soon. But we will be after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. The top of the third inning. It'll be the top of the batting order to come to bat for Yokohama. That means Ibina, Kuwahara, and Sano. And it is Ibina who is 1 for 1 tonight. He was raced on a fielder's choice, but he started the game with a base knock to get things rolling. And the first pitch is a fastball that goes all the way to the backstop. And the count is quickly 1-0 as Takahashi tips the hat and nods to the batter. And it wasn't necessarily in purpose, but it certainly will keep you regular when you see a pitch go whistling all the way over the head of everybody. So here comes the 1-0 offering as the right-hander kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2-0. RJ asked the question, says, how has Takeda looked for Yokohama so far? Pretty impressive. A pretty good command, not much in terms of jitters, so to speak, as there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted foul down the right field line, and the count now goes to 2-1. And has had pretty good command tonight in terms of his control. He has spotted up his pitches quite well. He's been able to change speeds effectively. I'd like to see how he's going to do the second time through the batting order once everybody's got an opportunity to look. I will say this, though. It's not like you're getting a Logan Webb from Major League Baseball where the ball's fluttering up to the plate. There's not a ton of movement. There's a fastball ticket for a called strike, and the count now goes to 2-2 on Ibina. Our friend Dodgers fan says he doesn't have money on this game, but he figured he'd stop by to see what's up. Yeah, nothing like late night baseball. Certainly when all the games across Major League Baseball are pretty close to being done. There was 2, I think, were still on the move when we were starting our stream, as that fastball is swung on and missed. It was a split finger variety, and that's 3 strikeouts in a row now recorded by Takahashi. Ibina is the first one in the books here. He is gone for out number 1, and that'll bring up the center fielder in Masayuki Kuwahara. Mike was saying that the Marines are going off today. Well, as I say, sometimes that happens. Sometimes you get breaks. Sometimes those things fall into your lap, fall into your favor. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball that misses outside. Count is 1-0 to Kuwahara. Kuwahara reached on a fielder's choice his first time up. He was brought home on the double by Sano to open up the scoring for the BayStars. This is the 45th pitch of the ball game coming up for Takahashi, who delivers a fastball. It's swung on. It's popped up over on the third base side in foul territory. Drifting over is Chavis, and he's got room. He's going to make the catch. And that is going to retire Kuwahara for the second out of the inning. One thing I will say, we don't call a lot of games where the home team is the Dragons. I don't know, for a variety of reasons. Maybe because they've been so bad over the last 3 years, we haven't really looked in on a lot of their games. But they've played much better this year. They've been far more effective, a little bit more entertaining to watch. And one of the things that you look at is just the amount of room there is in foul territory on both sides, on the first and third base side. So some of those pop-ups may have been out of play at other ballparks, as there's a fastball that misses inside. Count is 1-0 to Sano. It is a little bit spacious in foul territory. I think of some of the Pacific League teams and how they have those temporary seating that really come out close to the foul line. I call them temporary. They're like add-on seating. Fastball swung on. It's lined into center field, and camping out underneath it and making the catch is Okabayashi, and that is going to do it as Sano's going to be gone for the third out of the inning. So the BayStars go quietly and in order here in the third inning. No runs, no hits, no errors. And nobody left the board. We are now moving to the bottom half of the third. Your score is Yokohama 2 and Chunichi no score. Stay with us, everybody. I'll be back in just a couple moments. And we'll give you all the other information on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel when we return after this. everybody. Everybody's keeping us honest in the chat, as we got to keep up on making sure that we are posting the correct score. It is a 2-0 lead here, and we were falling asleep a bit at the switch. We reading a little too much of the chat, as the score right now is 2-0 for the BayStars, as we cruise ourselves into the bottom of the third inning. And the first pitch coming from Takita is a fastball swung on and grounded foul down past the first base coach's box. Count is 0-1 to Takuma Kato. Kato batting here, hitting 182, no homers and a couple of RBIs. As it is Kato, Takahashi on the top of the order, Okabayashi to come to bat. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball that misses down and away, and the count now goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. RJ back in the house. Great to have you with us again here tonight. And so thank you for joining us again. We'll have to make the adjustment on the start time for tomorrow night, 9:30 Pacific, same 2 teams. As that breaking ball misses down, it's now 2-2 to Kato. I have to admit, when I do these Central League games, I have just a little different setup. It's hard to explain. My setup when I do Pacific League games are a little bit different than the Central League. I have to kind of get used to it. Fastballs swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Kato for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone, and then it's going to bring up the pitcher in Hiroto Takahashi. Mike says we hit a YouTube niche covering NPB games. We've been doing it for a few years now. And I remember when we first started doing it, there was a fella who was a Korean guy living in Vietnam. Fastball swung on, chopped over to second, and that is going to be an easy play as it is fielded neatly by Hayashi. He throws to first to ground out 4-3 for the second out of the inning, and that'll bring up the top of the order and Yuki Okabayashi. Then there was another fella who was named Ben Roberts, and I believe he was in Yokohama, and he was actually living there. He's an American from Cleveland, and he popped in. We haven't seen him in a while. He popped into the stream a year and a half after that, and he was back in the States. He lived in the Cleveland area, and I remember, and it was literally just me and those 2 guys, and we'd be chatting about the games. If you listen to some of the early games, it was fairly primitive. Didn't really know a whole lot of how to do it. Fastball was taken for a called strike. The count's 0-1 to Okabayashi. Okabayashi is 0 for 1 tonight. He flew out to left field his first time up, as the right-hander kicks and delivers, and there's a fastball swung on and is grounded up the middle, fielded neatly by the shortstop Kyoto. He throws to first, and that is 1 quick inning. Ground out 6-3 to do it, as Okabayashi gone for the third out. There are no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're 1/3 of the game complete. It is the BayStars 2, the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a couple of moments on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel after this.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just 1 roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be Tyler Austin, Toshiro Miyazaki, and Yudai Yamamoto to come to bat here for the Yokohama Ball Club in inning number 4. Just back to Mike, I was talking about that. and RJ bringing up the stuff about the commentary in the games. And, we started doing it because we're watching the game anyway. And I was just like, well, let's start doing this. And as it turned out, we were able to pathway. The one thing I will say, when I watch sometimes guys that do the Yankees or the Dodgers, as there's a first pitch fastball swung on and fouled away by Austin. One of the things that I find is that there are some people that are out there that are pretty good. And then there's other people, I can't believe how many people they have in the stream. But the reality is I just can't do a single team all the time, and I can't be on every night. And so that's maybe what stunts the growth of the channel. There's a fastball swung on and fouled straight back, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Austin. And so we're, happy with where we're at in terms of the subscriber and viewership. And, we don't put a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of major care into it. We do a certain amount. It's more for the hobby that we like to do. And we care to do the play-by-play, but, adding extra videos and doing other stuff, it's time-consuming and unfortunately takes up a lot of time. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. But whatever we can do to share our love of the game with everybody else, and those who want to stay in here with us, we're glad that you guys can be here to listen. So 1-2 as the right-hander delivers again. There's a fastball down in the dirt. And the count now goes to 2-2. RJ says he's been around since that 2023 Japan series. Yeah, the Eastern Canada time zone makes it difficult to tune in regular. Yeah, last year we had some struggle doing the Japan series. Had trouble with some early feeds. And then also being a bit busy here too. There was a fastball swung on and missed, and the count that's actually going to retire Austin on strikes for the first out of the inning. So he's gone via the strikeout. That is, if we're keeping a track with us, that's the fifth strikeout recorded by Takahashi here tonight. Second time he's got Austin on strikes. So that is going to bring Miyazaki to the plate, and the first offering on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike. Counters on 1. Mike says, funny you say that because he's got some sports media experience, and I was thinking about calling the games. Yeah, the games are one thing. One thing I've been playing around with different stuff is doing the vlogging. Vlogging is different. There's a breaking ball that's outside. The count's 1-1. I got myself a brand new gimbal, and I'm going to take it with me to Taiwan. I'm going to try to get to about 3 games in Taiwan. I'm going to go down to Kaohsiung and see the Hawks. I'm going to see a game at the Taipei Dome. And there's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. And I may go see another one in Taichung. So if I get a chance, looking to see 3 different games, 3 different ballparks, 3 of the 7 parks that they would play most of their main games at. But I was hoping to vlog a little bit while I'm there doing it. But it's a whole other ballgame. When you see people on YouTube, doesn't matter the genre, when they're talking to themselves, they're not watching something or describing it. That is a art. I find it fascinating. And so here comes the 1-2 pitch to Miyazaki, as it is a fastball swung on his ground over the right side. Nice play by Vossler. He gobbles it up. And he's going to get over and step on the base, and that is going to retire Miyazaki on a ground out to 3 for the second out of the inning. And that is going to leave it up to the catcher, Yudai Yamamoto. And then the other thing is just calling the games. When we first started calling the games, what was it, 2020, I think it was, when we were doing the first ones. And it was just so primitive. You could actually go back and listen to some of the early calls and how we were doing this stuff. And it was just fun. It was fun doing it. And there's a fastball that's taken for a called strike. And then learning even some of the production on the back end on how to do some of the little commercials, or I would call them commercials, the little timeouts, so that we can get a little bit of a break. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count now goes to 0-2 on Yamamoto. Yamamoto homered his first time up. He accounted for the second run of the BayStars. As the pitch is a fastball that misses upstairs, and the count goes to 1-2. Mike says we got the personality for it. I don't know. Sometimes I can be rather dry. So here's the 1-2 pitch on the way. It's a fastball that just misses inside, and the count goes to 2-2. But yeah, certainly getting a chance to vlog. I think another thing is too is that even if you didn't have the other person in the camera view while you're vlogging, just to have them with you, you can kind of justify talking to somebody. Fastball misses down and in. The count goes to 3-2. So I know some people in Taiwan, and the kids are going to be there, so I might take them as my guinea pigs and go for a walk with them and vlog and do that. That would be kind of fun. So 3 balls and 2 strikes it is to Yamamoto. 2 gone here in the 4th inning. BayStars have a 2-0 lead. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, chopped over to short, charging in on it, and making the play is Yamamoto. He throws to first, and he's going to retire the other Yamamoto on a ground out 6-3. So one Yamamoto gets the other, and this inning is over. So no runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board for Yokohama. And by our count, that is 9 in a row now retired by Takahashi. We'll be back in just a couple of moments. Scores 2-0, bottom of the 4th around the corner. And we'll be back with it for you here right after this timeout. Thanks for being with us again tonight, everybody, on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and we're going to be back here for the bottom of the 4th inning as the right-hander Takeda is just completing his tune-up tosses. We're talking about a little bit of baseball. It's going to be interesting now. I'm starting to count the countries where I've seen baseball in, whether professionally or amateur, or at least attending games. You can knock off 3 countries in Europe, and then, of course, Canada, the United States gets me to 5, and Japan and then Taiwan will get me to 7. And then I'd like to knock off some stuff in Korea. I was only in Korea for about 24 hours, but I'd like to be able to get back to Korea. I would like to see the KBO a little bit. And also, I still haven't completed my tour of the Japanese League. I've got, what do I have? I think I've got 6 different stadiums that I've knocked off in the NPB. I haven't done the 2 in the Northeast. I've done everything in the Tokyo region. As the first pitch on the way, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. I haven't done the stadium in Nagoya. I haven't been to the Vantolin Dome, and I haven't been to Fukuoka. So those are the 4 that I am currently missing. As there's a pitch on the way, it's a fastball that misses up. Count now goes to 2-0. So if you want to know, if you're thinking of going to Japan and you want some information on these stadiums or how to get around, just let me know. There's a fastball swung on it. Has popped up into left field. Camping out underneath it with room to make the catch is the left fielder Sano, and that is going to retire Tanaka for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Seiji Ubiyashi. Well, for Ubiyashi, he singled and stole a base his first time up, but he was left stranded. He's got the only hit of the game right now for the Dragons. Mike says that realistically he'd take a classic Gen Z approach. There's a breaking ball ticket for a called strike. Count is 0-1. MLB gaming content, stadium, live calling games on days when you or others are running MLB calls. There's a breaking ball that is waved at and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. Yeah. I mean, we've had some fun with it. I mean, we've done some different things. And, even for a while, like when we have kids that come to our programming, the kids that are 12 and under, we always give them baseball cards at the end of each clinic. Some kids, they love to get the cards because they follow the game. Some kids couldn't care less. And some of it, they are fascinated just by the math on the card. There's a fastball that misses outside. It's now 1-2 to Ubiashi. But the whole idea is you got to play, you got to watch, and you got to listen. Our friend RJ asked, which is your favorite NPB stadium? I would have to say there's a few for different reasons. Probably the one I like the least is the Tokyo Dome. As the 1-2 pitch is on the way, there's a fastball that misses up, and the count goes to 2-2. Tokyo Dome is, kind of what you see all the time with a dome. It's not a big deal. I mentioned it the other night in the stream, probably Hiroshima, the Mazda Zoom Zoom. I know it's a newer stadium. I really like that. I liked Hotomoto Field in Kobe. That was pretty cool as well. The Kyocera Dome in Osaka is kind of like the Tokyo Dome. Looks like a spaceship has landed. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Ubiashi's gone on strikes. He's out for the second out of the inning. And that'll leave it up to the left fielder in Seiya Hosokawa. So the lefty Takeda right now is just cruising along. And by our counts here, the rookie has retired 9 in a row himself. So both pitchers are now locked in a pitcher's duel. Our friend says that every time he flies to China, he takes Air Canada, although probably not the right decision right now as they're about to go on strike. I think tomorrow, there's a breaking ball missing down. So 1 ball and no strike. About the interesting layovers, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 1-1. They allow up to 7-day layover, no charge, so he can stop in Korea or Japan for a few days. I think that's pretty cool. I know it was Eastern China Airways used to have flights pre-pandemic, and there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. It's now 1-2 to Hosokawa. There was a fellow who used to work for me. His brother lived in Burnaby, and his brother had gone to Thailand a couple of times. And he went to Thailand, and they had a deal with Eastern China Air that you could fly into China for, 24 or 48 hours, whatever the length of time was at the time where you really didn't need to get a full visa. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. Hosokawa down on strikes. He's out for the third out of the inning, and that is going to do it. And by our counts, that is the 5th strikeout recorded tonight by Takeda. So he is pitching very well. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left. I'll talk about the Thailand and Eastern China errors when I come back in just a moment. Your score as we move to the top of the 5th, it is a 2-0 ball game. We'll be right back in just a few. Wanted to go back to a couple of things in the chat. And we're talking about flying to China, and it was Eastern China Airways that had that deal. And you'd fly into, say, Guangzhou, you'd get a hotel, you'd get a meal, and you'd get transfers. And then what would happen is you get about 24 hours in the city, and then you'd fly out to Thailand, and then you'd come back in and you could fly to another city. As there's a breaking ball delivered to Hayashi that misses outside. The count is 1-0. Takumi Hayashi today is 0 for 1. He grounded to third his first time up. 62 pitches through 4 innings for the right-hander, as there's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over the first base side. And then the other part of that deal is that when you flew back to Canada or back to Vancouver, you could stay another night in China. China. You could be somewhere else. Could be Xi'an or somewhere else. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded softly into the 6-hole. Fielded. A nice play there by the shortstop, Yamamoto, who was able to gun down Hayashi. He had to go into the 6-hole. It was softly hit, and he came up and fired a bullet. Hayashi's going to be retired on a ground out, 6-3 for the first out of the inning. It's going to bring up the shortstop in Yoda Kyoda. And so the deal, and the flights were cheap. It was something crazy. It was like under $1,000 Canadian. You could do that trip. So those deals are long gone. I haven't seen those since the 2020 year. And there is a fastball that swung on and missed. The count is 0-1 to Kyoto. Back to RJ for a moment there. He had said that about what was the favorite stadium. So I'd mentioned it was Hiroshima, probably the one that I've been to that I like the most. In a kind of a romantic way, although it's not a great stadium anymore. There's a fastball that misses down. Counts 1-1. I actually like the stadium in Tokugawa where the Saitama Sea Lions call home. The surrounding facility is pretty great. So 1 ball and 1 strike to Kyoto as the right-hander delivers. There's a fastball taken on the inside corner for a called strike. Now the count goes to 1-2. And so where the Lions play is pretty cool. Chiba's a nice stadium, but there's nothing special. Where the Swallows play, it's a bit antiquated. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded up the middle, fielded on the backhand by the second baseman, Tanaka. He tries to throw to first, but it is not going to get Kyoto as he's going to reach there safely. That's going to be an infield single. Tanaka had to range to his right over the bag at second base, and he had to throw off balance to first. In fact, he was way on the left field side of second base to have to make that throw, showing off some fantastic range, but unable to retire the runner over at first base. So Kyoto aboard with a single. That's the 4th out of the ball game, recorded by Yokohama, and it is going to bring up the pitcher in Yu Takeda, and he's already squaring to bunt. As the right-hander ready to go. Now he kicks and delivers. It's a fastball that misses down for a ball. Yokohama Stadium is actually pretty cool too. It's decent. I kind of, when I was sitting there, I sat down the right field line, and what I'd like to do is, if I went back, I'd like to experience a couple of other locations. Even in the upper, they don't really have an upper deck, but that wing up in left field would be kind of neat. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Unless, of course, you got a thunderstorm rolling through. I don't know if I'd really want to be there. That ball's bunted down the first baseline. It's a good one. Fielded neatly by Vossler, and he's going to throw it to the second baseman, Tanaka, covering, and that's going to be a sacrifice. It's going to go 3-4 for the putout. That's the second out of the inning. Advancing to second is Kyoto, and it's going to bring the top of the order, Tetsuo Abina, to the plate. Our friend asked or he says he flew every time he flies over to China. So that was where that came up about, where Korea or Japan, you get to stay a few days with no extra charge. Yeah, if you get a chance to take advantage of something like that, it's great. I'm looking at heading to Vietnam for about 3 weeks over the Christmas window. Obviously no baseball at that time, but there probably will be a stopover somewhere, either in Kaohsiung in Taiwan, or could possibly do it in Japan at Narita. Haven't yet decided what I'm going to do. As the batter is Ibina, who's at the plate here, 1 for 2 today. He singled in the first and struck out in the third. Batting here with 2 gone and a runner in scoring position. The BayStars looking to add to their lead. And there's a fastball swung on. It's going to be looped over the head of the shortstop into left field, rounding third and heading home. Here comes the throw to the plate. It is not going to get cut off, and in to score is going to be Kyoto with the third run of the game here for the BayStars. So a base hit off the bat of Ebina, his second of the night, an RBI single. And that is going to increase the scoreline to 3-0, and it's going to bring up the center fielder in Masayuki Kuwahara. RJ wanted to know if I've ever been to the Koshin. So the answer to that is yes and no. Every game I went to in Japan, I was able to get tickets. The only games I actually bought tickets in advance for were last year when I saw the Swallows and the Giants at the Jingu Stadium. Everywhere else, I'd get a day of the game. But I could not get tickets for the Tigers and the BayStars. And actually, that happened to be the night when Bauer got hurt, when he was there in 2023, when they were playing the Tigers, and he ended up missing the season after that injury. So here comes the first offering from the right-hander, who kicks and delivers. Fastball down, it squirts away from the catcher, but holding his ground at first base is Ebina, and the count is 1-0. So I walked around the Koshin. I actually picked up a jersey. I picked up a Hanshin Tiger jersey. And it was kind of ironic because a buddy of mine lives on a YG Island, and I picked up Koji Chikamoto's jersey, which happened to be, or he happens to be from a YG Island, which is about a little bit west of Kobe. Here's the 1-0 pitch. It's a split finger pitch that drops in for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-1 on Kuwahara. So the Koshin, it's kind of neat. It's got the ivy on the outside. It looks kind of like Wrigley Field when you walk up to it. It's an old stadium. Be fascinating. It's a lot of history. I would like to get there. It's just not going to be in the short run. So that's the other stadium that I have not actually seen a game in. Been to the stadium, but not seen a game. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. As Takahashi holds set, now delivers. Fastball misses down. It's now 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike to Kuwahara. Our friend also said, yeah, it was a cool deal with the 24-hour visa-free. It's not the end destination. I'm not sure if they've changed it. Well, I don't think it really matters right now. There's a fastball that misses inside, and the count now goes to 3-1. I understand in December that for Canadian residents in China, you can go 240 hours visa-free, so that's 10 days now. Anything that exceeds 10 days, you are going to be in some trouble. So I don't know if I'm quite ready to explore China quite yet, but it's coming. Here's the 3-1 pitch. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to the left side, fielded by Chavis. He fires to first, and that is going to retire Kuwahara. It's a ground out 5-3 for the third out of the inning. That's going to do it for Yokohama here in the 5th. Well, they got 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits, no errors, and 1 runner left aboard. Your score, as we are now halfway through this game, it is the BayStars 3, the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this timeout. It is Dragons coming to bat when we return. As we move to the bottom of the 5th inning, it is the BayStars holding a 3-0 lead. We'll be back in just a few with all the action appreciate you guys for hanging in with us tonight on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. It is our friend keeping you in in check, and that's Steve Rademacher. We'll be right back.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game, really exciting, lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course, I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, I got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in, check them out, leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. We're a little slow in keeping up with our chat tonight, but good thing the chat is a little bit slow tonight as well. It is now, as I said, 240 hours of visa-free time, and the first pitch is a breaking ball delivered to Jason Vossler that misses down. Vossler, Chavis, and Yamamoto to come to bat here against the rookie right-hander Takeda, who has been pretty good through his first 4 innings of work. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-1. Friend Mike said that he had a chance to go to one of the early round summer Koshin matchups. Special energy in that tournament. That's pretty cool. There's a breaking ball that misses outside. The count is 2-1. My buddy won the Koshin in 1993, but it was the spring Koshin, not the summer Koshin. And I got an opportunity. Actually, I'll probably incorporate it in one of our little infomercials. I got a picture of his gold medal. And those things are pretty serious. There's a breaking ball that misses, and the count now goes to 3-1 on Vossler. That thing had to be almost a half-inch thick. And it was looked like a hockey puck. It was like 3 inches in diameter. There's a fastball swung on and grounded past the first base coach's box. And he kind of laughed. He said there were only 15 of them in existence. Of course, everybody who had won. So if you look up the school that he went to, and I believe he went to the same school that Hiroki Takota went to, or was it Hiroki Kuroda went to? But I have to double check on that. That might not be accurate. There's a fastball that misses up and away, and that's going to be ball 4, and Vossler is going to get himself a leadoff walk here to start the 5th. That's going to bring up the third baseman and Michael Chavis. Mike was saying how he had the pleasure living there. I know Mike was saying he lived in Yokohama. And there's a lot of truth to that. It's almost like the kids would prefer that. It's almost like in hockey where a lot of the Europeans couldn't care less about the Stanley Cup, but they would want to win an Olympic gold. It means more to the Europeans in hockey. And so in baseball, same thing. You'd be a legend in Japan if you win the Koshin. Playing pro ball is just sort of something else that you would do. Pro Yaku isn't quite on the pedestal like you get in the United States. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. It counts 0-1. And I'm not disrespecting it. I'm not just saying that it's people watch it. Obviously, you look at the thousands of people who go to the games, but it is that Koshin is something special. It's like junior hockey in Canada. Got a really cool feel. There's a ball chopped over to third. Miyazaki fields it. He goes to second for 1, and that's all they're going to get. As Chavis hustling down the line, he's going to reach on a fielder's choice. It's going to erase Vossler. He's gone 5-4 for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up the shortstop in Yasuhiro Yamamoto. Now, the Japanese baseball culture is something special, that is for sure. And Mike says, Owaiji Island, a underrated place to party. I don't know about that. I think that Owaiji Island might be a perfect place if you're looking to be buried in the future. There's a breaking ball that's down, but the shortstop Yamamoto went around on it. The count is 0-1. We were playing catch on the beach. That was pretty cool at Osaka Bay. Throwing with my buddy. It was 95 degrees and humid, and that just makes you really feel loose. Your body feels great. The more hot, the more humid it is, the more loose you are. It doesn't take you forever to get warmed up. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes even to 1-1. Our friend Mike says, or is it RJ says, that we're in BC. Yeah, we are now. It'll be 17 years at the end of the month. Here comes the 1-1 pitch. As the right-hander delivers, there's a fastball swung on, and it's fouled away behind home plate, and the count goes to 1-2. Yeah, and one of the other things when we were playing catch, it was kind of cool, besides the fact that there were, some decent-looking ladies walking around in very, very small bikinis. There was the biggest hawk I'd ever seen. It's not even a hawk. It wasn't an osprey. And they called the bird a kite. I'd never seen a kite before. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right field, moving over toward the foul line. And with room to make the catch is the right fielder, Ibina. And retreating back to first is Cheva. So Yamamoto gone for the second out of the inning. I had no idea what a kite was, but that bird was absolutely massive. So 2 gone here in the inning. It's going to bring up the catcher, Takuma Kato, who is 0 for 1 tonight. He has struck out his only time up. Mike says, actually, I don't think they were. I think they might have been foreign tourists. They might have been maybe Vietnamese. I don't think they were Filipino. There's a breaking ball that misses up. Count as 1-0. My buddy said that he didn't think they were local, and he didn't think that they were Japanese. So he would know best. Maybe Malaysian, who knows? So 1 ball and no strikes as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes to 1-1. Here I am trying to figure out my grips and work on some of my throwing, and got to concentrate with ladies walking around in thong bikinis. Here comes the 1-1. And there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted over onto the right field, shallow right field. Moving back on it is the second baseman, Hayashi, and he makes an over-the-shoulder catch, and that is going to do it here in the 5th inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors. There was a runner left aboard. We like to call this our Japanese halftime, but realistically, the break here is for all about the smokes. Your score, as we move to the top of the 6th inning, it is 3-0 for Yokohama. We're going to take a little break here as we ourselves are going to go refresh our beverage and get ourselves a fresh glass of water. Top of the 6th is around the corner when we return, and we are going to give you guys some of the drumming from Chiba that we got to witness last year. This is pretty cool stuff to see as they do it in sequence. We'll be right back after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves now into the top of the sixth inning, and we're already behind a little bit here as Sano's at the plate. He's got a 1-1 count. 77 pitches for the right-hander through his 6 innings work, and there's a fastball that gets away from the righty, and we're dropping stuff all over the place here. So apologies for the background noise. We not only got ourselves a refreshed beverage, but indulge in between innings on some fresh pasta salad. There's a 2-ball and 1-strike count here to Sano. Otherwise, we'll pass out from lack of food. There's another fastball that misses inside, just misses Sano. Count goes to 3-1. One thing I notice is that the breaks in between, breaks in the Pacific League, they're definitely 5 minutes in length. But I think the Central League, this comes up a little short. I think it's more like 3 minutes. I haven't done the exact time. It just feels like they are just a little shorter than their cousins. 3-1 on the way. Fastball swung on, chopped over to the right side, fielded by the second baseman Tanaka, who is moving to his right. And that is going to retire Sano on a ground out 4-3 for the first out of the inning. 1 gone here, and it'll bring up the first baseman in Tyler Austin. Well, for Austin tonight, he's 0 for 2. He has struck out both of his trips to the plate. He has seen his average drop to 243 on the campaign. Batting from the right side here against the right-handed throwing Takahashi. As the right-hander kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses way outside. The count is 1-0. Takahashi seems to have lost a little bit of command of his pitches. I wonder what his leash will be here tonight. I would think, obviously, he's going to get through this inning. And I would think he comes out for the 7th. After that, unless the Dragons start putting some runs up on the board, this night could be done after 7. So 1 ball and no strikes as the right-hander holds to the set, kicks and delivers. Fastball taken for a called strike. Count runs even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. We were talking a little bit about the niche of the NPB. Just sitting and watching the games at late night, you get an opportunity to see what's going on. There's a fastball that misses down and away, and it's now 2 balls and a strike. And, just being able to sit back, relax, and call it and watch things. And also, too, you can see how the game is, I don't want to say played differently, but there's different nuances to the game and watching the Japanese game than there is to the North American. And it is fun to watch, certainly even the camera angles, as there's a fastball swung on. It's lifted foul. It's going to go down the right field line, and the count is 2-2 to Tyler Austin. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Saying about how the game is played, certainly we all see the bunts, but just the fundamental skills that the Japanese have is just fun to watch. Here comes the 2-2. Fastball taken for a called 3rd strike. It's the 3rd time tonight that Austin has struck out. This time it's looking. He's gone for the 2nd out of the inning, and that'll bring up the 3rd baseman in Toshiro Miyazaki. Nothing wrong with that pitch. That was right at the knee of the catcher, which makes it also at the knee of the hitter. Hardly had to move the glove. And that will bring up Miyazaki to the plate, who is 0 for 2 tonight in this one. He is grounded to first both of his times. As the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down, and the count's 1-0. Miyazaki hitting .275 on the year with the 4 homers and 33 runs batted in. I do like his game. I don't know if I like his swing all the time. And there's a fastball swung on, grounded softly to short, fielded and thrown on one hop to first base by the shortstop Yamamoto. And that is going to do it here as the BayStars go quietly in their half of the 6th inning. They got no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now moving to the bottom half of inning number 6. Your score is Yokohama DeNA BayStars 3 and the Chunichi Dragons no score. We'll be back in just a few with all the action after this timeout. Stay with us, everybody. It is the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel, giving you guys all the information on the Central League matchup tonight.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball.
That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and it is going to be the bottom of the 6th inning, and coming to bat will be slated to be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters. So that would mean the pitcher, Takahashi, then the top of the order, and Okabayashi and Tanaka. But we are waiting to see if it is going to be Takahashi, and it looks like that is the end of the day for him. We are going to have ourselves a pinch hitter. As coming to bat here is going to be number 53. This is Shunta coming to bat. So Shunta will be taking over. And that is the end of the day for Takahashi. We'll be getting a reliever after that. So batting from the left side here. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is quickly 0-1. So Shunta digging himself in as Takahashi's night is over. Takahashi actually had a pretty good finish to the ball game as there's a fastball missing upstairs and the count runs even to 1-1. And we will expect a full-on parade. It was announced couple of weeks ago that the Central League in 2027 is getting rid of the pitchers hitting, and I'm disappointed for that, as they will bring in the designated hitter, as there's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2. There's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So if you like the designated hitter and you're a fan of that, then I'm sure you'll be happy to hear the news. But for all the baseball purists out there, not so much. Fastball misses inside. Count now goes to 2-2 on Shunta. 63 pitches through the 5 innings for the right-hander Takeda, who has cruised here so far tonight. I thought it would be interesting to see how he would do the second time through the order, and he's been even better than he was the first time through. He's only given up 1 hit tonight in the ball game. That was to Ubiashi back in the first inning, as that pitch misses down and away. Count is 3-2. Somebody had come in earlier and asked how we thought Takeda looked, and we thought, he was pretty decent. Oh, boy. He's turned out to be way more than just decent. Here's the pitch. There's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. It's over on the third base side. The count remains at 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. And RJ says, no, he wishes the pitchers were still batting. Yeah, we all do. Or I don't know if we all do, but I certainly do. And I wish they still had it in the National League as well. There's a fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the third base side. It takes strategy out of the game. I mean, here's a situation right now where you got Takahashi, who would be leading off the inning. If it was a game where it was the DH was involved, he probably rolls out for a seventh inning of work. But in this one here, you got to make the decision. You're down by 3. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 3-2. Mike says he's really impressed with Takeda tonight. Yeah, he was their first overall pick in the draft. And now, what does that mean? I'm not sure, but there's certainly a lot of players that are playing in the independent league that could walk right into the NPB and not break a stride. And one of those ones was Koji Chikamoto, who we were talking about earlier, of the Tigers. There was a fastball swung on, it's grounded over to first and fielded neatly by the first baseman, Austin, who will step on the bag, and that is going to retire Shunta on a ground out to 3. So one of the books that'll bring up the top of the order in Yuki Okabayashi. Pitcher's not batting in the National League now. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. And there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count is quickly 0-1 to Okabayashi. Again, the pitch is fastball swung on and fouled away. Count now goes to 0-2, so no balls and 2 strikes. A 3-0 lead here for the BayStars, 3-5-0. Yokohama 0-1-0 for the Dragons. As the pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on. It is looped into right field softly. Coming in hard, but making the catch is the right fielder. And that is Abina, who will put that one away for the second out of the inning. That'll leave it up to the second baseman in Makia Tanaka. Yeah, it's taking some strategy out of the game, the management out of the game. I mean, it's the double switches that you used to get. It's I don't know what to say. It's disappointing. But I guess that's the way that everything's kind of gone now, and it's the way it'll be. So this brings Tanaka to the plate, who's 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded to third and flown to left. And the first pitch is swung on. It's grounded over to second, fielded neatly by the second baseman Hayashi, who throws to first. It's a ground out 4-3. Well, they don't really need Shugo Maki now, do they? Who's recovering from some surgery. So some nice defensive plays tonight by Hayashi. But they do miss his bat. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We are now through 2/3 of this game. It is a 3-0 lead for the BayStars. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We appreciate you guys for hanging out with us tonight on the Last Drops Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be the left-hander Yuki Hashimoto coming on in relief, as he will take over here as the reliever for Hiroto Takahashi. So Hashimoto just completing his tune-up tosses. We'll be ready to resume the action in just a couple of moments. So Hashimoto ready to go again. Mike wants to know if there is any updates on Mackey, and I have to say I didn't get any updates once the surgery's been completed. I do think that he's slated to come back before the end of the year. They expect that he shouldn't be out the rest of the regular season. Although I would have to say as long as they're in a playoff position, they probably wouldn't want to rush him back. So this is going to bring up the catcher in Yuta Yamamoto. It'll be Yamamoto, Hayashi, and Kyoto. But I would think that you would want to have him get some live action before the playoffs started. It is definitely to get the timing down and get everything on song. So here comes the first offering from the lefty who kicks and delivers. Grounded past the diving Chavis into left field. And that is going to be a single for Yamamoto. That's going to be his second hit of the night. Follows up the home run he hit back in the second inning. And that is going to put him aboard, and it'll bring up the second baseman in Takuma Hayashi. I would not be surprised in the slightest if we saw a sacrifice bunt in this situation, as the BayStars will look to try to pad their lead here. So Hayashi steps in. 0 for 2 tonight. He has grounded out twice. That was against the starter, and they throw over to first base, and easily getting back to the bag is the runner Yamamoto. Again, the left-hander working himself to the set position. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Hayashi. Balls and 1 strike. When this game is over, we'll give you a full roundup from around the NPB. And then we'll call it a night. This game has had a pretty good clip to it. We don't want to jinx ourselves quite yet. Pitch is on the way. It is a breaking ball swung on. It is popped up over on the first base side of home plate. But the catcher for the Dragons, Kato, is going to watch that sail into the seats. And it's now no balls and 2 strikes to Hayashi. So Hashimoto ready to go all over again. He gets his sign from his catcher. He works himself to the belt. He checks the runner at first. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hashimoto ready to go again. It is Kyoto on deck and then Takita to follow. I would have a feeling that we'll still see more Takita. There's a breaking ball swung on. It's lifted into the seats behind home plate. Count remains at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. We are approaching the witching hour in the Pacific time zone. It is going to be 3 o'clock Eastern coming up, as there's a ball that's hook-barreled into the seats over on the first base side, and the count remains at 1-2. That's the one thing is I do appreciate the early games, the games that go off at 10 o'clock. Games that go off at 2 in the morning, a little bit more difficult, especially those ones that go on into extra innings and whatever else. Here's the 1-2. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. And the battle will continue. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. And the lefty getting his sign and ready to go back to work as he comes to the set. Checks the runner, now delivers. Fastball swung. This ball is lifted into deep right field. This ball could be trouble, and this ball is going to be gone. A home run off the bat of Hayashi. Oh, that wasn't expected, as that is going to increase the scoreline to 5-0. Oh, boy, he battled him and kept fouling pitch away, and the next thing you know, he deposits one into the seats. And the BayStars now are enjoying a 5-0 lead on the home run off the bat of Hayashi. So the rookie right-hander in this one here, Takeda, has now got himself a 5-run cushion to work with. Not a bad way to start your NPB career, and it's going to bring Yota Kyoto to the plate with nobody out. My friend Harrison says he's fallen asleep. What's going on? Well, what's going on is it's all BayStars tonight. There's a first pitch fastball that misses down and in. And the count is 1-0. Harrison fell asleep on his keyboard. He didn't get his 5-hour energy drink before the game. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field. Coming in with plenty of room to make the catch is the left fielder, Hosokawa. And that is going to retire Kyoto for the first out of the inning. So one gone, and that'll bring up the pitcher in Yu Takeda. Yeah, we always update the score lines after the half inning, so Mike has got your back there. 5-0 it is, as they have just deposited a 2-run shot into the seats. The second home run hit tonight by the BayStars, and if I was picking the bingo card tonight, I would have had neither of them. First pitch breaking ball, taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-1. Takeda officially 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up, and he had a sacrifice bunt in the 5th inning that led to another run. There's a breaking ball that misses outside, the count's 1-1. So Harrison needs to go back to sleep so that the BayStars can continue to put runs on the board. So here comes the 1-1 offering. Pitch on the way, fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. Count now goes to 1-2. And RJ says, yes, you get more Takeda. There you go. That's the other part to this. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 2-2. He looks like a disinterested party wanting to hit here, Takeda. I mean, he did lay down a good sacrifice bunt, but not much of a difference between him and Taijuan Walker as the pitch comes in. Breaking ball taken for a called third strike. Taijuan Walker, of course, when he was with the Mets, had one of the worst at-bats I'd ever seen from a pitcher. Just stood there with his bat anchored to his shoulder. Well, Takeda didn't look a whole lot better there. He's gone for the second out. And that is going to bring up the top of the order in Tetsuo Ibina. So that brings Ibina to the plate. He's 2 for 3 tonight. He's got a couple of singles. He's driven in a run. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. We mentioned at the beginning of the year, Ibina really got off to a lethargic start. But he has really picked up his game. There's a fastball swung on it. His check swing fouled over on the first base side. He couldn't hold up. Harrison asked the question. He says, does K pitch tomorrow? And the answer to that is no. We read off the starters earlier in the stream for tomorrow night's game, as the starters have been announced. And there is a fastball that swung on and missed. And Ibina's in the books. He's gone for the third out of the inning, but that is going to do it. There's been more damage done here by the BayStars. 2 runs in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there was nobody left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom half of inning number 7, it is Yokohama 5, Chunichi no score. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a little bit. We appreciate you guys for hanging around here with us on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back in just a bit. It is going to be Takahiro Matsubo against Shintaro Fujinami. Fujinami will go for the BayStars tomorrow night. He's making his first appearance in the NPB since the 2022 season when he pitched for the Hanshin Tigers. So he is back in Japan, Mount Fuji, after getting his release from the Seattle Mariners organization. Fuji had bounced around a little bit. He came over to pitch for Oakland, and then he was with Baltimore and the Mets, and unfortunately for him, it never worked out in Major League Baseball. That 100-mile-an-hour fastball is what everybody falls in love with. The fact that he walks a guy every other inning is something that can drive people crazy. First pitch breaking ball delivered to Seiji Ubiashi, take it for a called strike. Count is 0-1. Ubiashi, Hosokawa, and Vossler to come to bat here against the right-hander who only threw 77 pitches through his first 6 innings. As there's a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 0-2. I wonder if he's in a position, first of all, with a shutout going here into the 7th, if they would let him try to get a complete game shutout. That would be pretty cool to see. As the right-hander Takeda kicks and delivers, breaking ball swung on, grounded over to the right side, and it's going to get through the 4-hole into right field. And Seiji Ubiashi has the Dragons' second hit of the day, and ironically, he had the first hit of the day for them. So he is aboard with a leadoff single here in the 7th inning. And that is going to bring Seiya Hosokawa to the plate. Well, for Hosokawa tonight, he is 0 for 2. He is grounded to short and struck out in his 2 trips to the plate. As he establishes his lead over at first base, the right-hander Takeda ready to go. As the first pitch is delivered, it's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. Well, they certainly have some firepower, do the Dragons, to be able to get themselves back into the game here. And the firepower is coming up now in the next couple of hitters, in Hosokawa, Vossler, and Chavez. As the right-hander delivers, breaking ball waved at and missed. And now the count goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to Hosokawa. RJ asks, what's our team in the MLB? It would be Detroit. The Tigers are the club that we lived 20 minutes away from growing up. Got a chance to see them a lot during our time. Here's the 0-2. It's a fastball missing down and away, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Hosokawa. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Hosokawa, interesting. Gets himself positioned right up on top of the plate. As he bats here from the right side. Now here comes the pitch. Did I grow up in Windsor? And the answer to that is you got it. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and that is going to retire Hosokawa as he is down on strikes for the first out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the first baseman in Jason Vossler. Says, no wonder we left growing up in Windsor. It'll always be home, so it's the way it goes. But yeah, Windsor, Ontario, it's definitely a lunch bucket town. A lot of people. Mike says most of his family's from Sarnia. Yeah, Sarnia is 45 minutes if you go the American route. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-1. If you go the Canadian route, it's about an hour and a quarter. Our friend also says he grew up in Kitchener. Yeah, Kitchener's about 3 hours down the highway. I got a friend in Kitchener-Waterloo. We went to high school together. She lives there now. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count goes to 0-2 on Vossler. Tell you, Takeda goes right after the hitters. One thing I don't keep when I do the stats here, or my stats, I haven't been keeping first pitch strikes. I should probably do that more often. But I would have to say Takeda really gets ahead in the count. He really goes after the hitters. As the right-hander holds set, here's the pitch. There's the breaking ball missing down and away, and the count goes to 1-2. Never really spent a lot of time in Kitchener. Obviously, Kitchener is famous for its Oktoberfests. RJ says he grew up in Toronto. There's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul. It's going to reach the seats on the first base side of home plate, and the count remains a 1-2. Yeah, you get certain pockets of the country that really produce a lot of things. It was kind of funny growing up in our neighborhood. I had a buddy who ended up going on to referee in the National Hockey League, and just in our area, there was about 8 former NHL officials that lived probably within a kilometer of one another. It was pretty crazy. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into deep left center field. Should be playable as the left fielder is going to haul it in. That's Sano, who is going to retire Vossler for the second out of the inning. So 2 gone. It's going to bring up the third baseman, Michael Chavis. Markham is nice, but my name suggests why I think so. There you go. Certainly some of the areas around Toronto. I mean, Toronto's changed a lot. I used to go a lot to Toronto because of my dad's work, and we used to see a lot of Blue Jay games at Old Exhibition Stadium growing up, and then it became the Sky Dome, and we got to see games there. But, you know, it's really, really unfortunate, the downtown, on how it's deteriorated. But that can be said about a lot of cities. There was a breaking ball swung on, it is grounded to third. Miyazaki fields it. He throws to second, and they're going to get Ubiashi on a fielder's choice. Oh, look what I found. And what a play there by Miyazaki. And that is going to be the third out of the inning, as Ubiashi is retired on a fielder's choice, 5-4 for the third out. Well, no runs in the inning. There was the hit. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. Your scores, we're now through 7 complete. It is the BayStars 5 and the Dragons no score. Stay with us. Everybody will be back in just a little bit on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We're talking baseball with a bunch of Canadians in the chat here tonight. We're glad you guys could make it in. And we'll be right back in just a bit. It is top of the 8th. We missed this after the 7th, and we'll throw it out here in the in-between. We'll put it out here as we go to the 8th. Welcome back, everybody. We got ourselves another pitching change as the Dragons are going back to the well to get another arm, and it's going to be Daisuke Sobu. I hope I said that right. Sobue in relief, making his 7th appearance of the year for the Dragons. So he is taking over here. And the first pitch is delivered to Tetsuo Obina. It's taken for a ball down, or to Kuwahara, taken for a ball down and away. Kuwahara, Sano, and Austin slated to come to bat here. As the pitch is on the way, it's a fastball missing down and away. The count's 2-0. You know, when you live in the west coast of BC, and it's been growing and growing and growing right in front of the eyes since I moved out here. It's pretty crazy to see how everything is just changing. Fastball taken for a called strike. Just the overall infrastructure is behind the growth. The race to get developers to build buildings and those type of things. As the 2-1 is on the way, there's a fastball that misses down, but they haven't improved the infrastructure and the way that people get around. That's the way it goes. Even RJ points out, seeing some of that stuff. I remember being down in the Eaton Center as a kid years ago. Fastball misses inside. It's going to be ball 4. And I remember when Brett Laurie had played with the Blue Jays, and he was in the Eaton Center, and I remember there was like a shooting. And I remember when he was there, he was having lunch, or he was just something it was when he was playing for the Blue Jays, and that was big news. They interviewed him, and shooting had went on, and just some of the things that you wouldn't see on Yonge Street or some of the other areas you definitely see now. And people just don't want to go into certain areas. And that's a normal Tuesday. Yeah, pretty much. Harrison's tapping out. He says he made it 8 innings. Actually, you made it 7, Harrison. We're in the top of the 8th right now. You got to get to the full bottom of the inning, but we're glad you were able to stick it out. As there's a fastball that misses down and in, and the count goes to 1-0 on Sano. Just to watch the way that the cities have decayed in certain areas. I mean, certainly Vancouver. I used to go and officiate basketball when I first moved out here and went into some of the rougher areas of the east side of Vancouver. There's a fastball swung on and grounded foul. And there used to be a program called Night Hoops. And the way that Night Hoops worked is on Saturday night, you referee the basketball games. On Friday night, the kids had to go to practice. But it was sort of discipline through exhaustion. They wanted to keep the kids off the street. They wanted to give them something to do. And that way they wouldn't be getting into trouble. And they were the high school kids. And you had to be either a teacher, a parole officer, a police officer had to put you into the league. As there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. And the count now goes to 1-2 on Sano. And I remember coming out of some of the community centers that were in Chinatown on the east side. And you're literally stepping over the stoners on the street, and you're going by hookers and all the rest of this stuff, and you're looking around saying, why am I doing this? And there's a fastball swung on and grounded foul. But the kids who are actually playing and they're involved, the kids are good kids. They just need an opportunity and an outlet. And I would walk out sometimes with some of the kids when we were done and heading back, and I'm like, I had a hard time processing what I was seeing, but let alone what those 15 and 14 and 16-year-olds would see and how they become almost normal to it. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As it is a fastball that's waved at and missed. And that is going to do it, as Sano is going to be down on strikes. He's out for the first out of the inning. Our friend God is Great is back in the house. Everybody needs a little bit of God is Great in their lives, that's for sure. Well, slated to bring up the first baseman, Tyler Austin. Austin tonight is 0 for 3. He has struck out each time he has stepped to the plate, twice swinging and once looking. So he's looking to get himself back on track here, as he has picked himself another sombrero up. And the first pitch here coming from the right-hander Sobu, and it's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. But yeah, you think about some of the stuff, and it's not just here. It's everywhere you see it now, not just in North America, but you go abroad. But you don't see it as much in Asia. You do see it in Japan a little bit. There are some homeless people in Japan. You'd be surprised. There's a fastball that misses outside. Counts 1-1. But not to the alarming rate that we have here. And especially, you could live year-round on the streets of certain areas in Japan, just as you can in certain areas of Canada. As the 1-1 pitch is on the way. There's a breaking ball swung on his loop softly over to the shortstop. Nice play there by Yamamoto, who slides to make the catch, but he doesn't have a chance to double off Kuwahara. So Austin's going to be gone. It's the first ball tonight that he's put in play. He's gone for the second out of the inning. And that is going to bring up the first baseman, Toshiro Miyazaki. I didn't hear about the bear that killed and ate half a 26-year-old, but I did hear that they've had a rash of bear attacks in the Hokkaido region. I actually saw a video of how they were preparing people. A guy was dressed up in a bear suit, and they were trying to show how that was going to take place. There's a ground ball that's chopped over to third, but it is just going to go foul. That is going to run the count to 1-1. Had made the play, and he had fired it over to first. I hope I got the right pitcher here that was in here. It looks like I had, it's actually Mao Ito who was on the mound. I got the wrong one. I was looking at the BayStars. So Mao Ito. I guess we're talking about other things other than necessarily paying attention to what's going on here. That's what happens when it's 5-0, keeping everybody entertained. Fastball taken on the outside corner for a called strike. The count's 0-2. Yeah, and it's a good point. You don't see it in China or in other cultures. It's whether it be saving face, but it's an embarrassment. Like if you had a child that got somehow hooked into drugs and was out on the streets, it's an embarrassment to you, your family, the whole thing. It's not just there. There's other cultures globally, but certainly China would be definitely one of those. RJ says we got into some depressing topics. Maybe it's because tonight we're watching this game here that's 5-0, and we're just looking at it. There just seems like the BayStars have no chance at giving up this lead. It looks like the Dragons with only 2 hits tonight, as that fastball misses down and the count goes to 1-2. RJ, definitely changing topics. How do you feel about the Jays this year? Well, yeah, definitely. They are a surprise, and it's only going to get better with Shane Bieber going to be joining the staff here in the next couple of weeks. One would have to think. I think he had a start. Was it tonight down in AAA? I didn't check in on it. Fastball swung on, grounded up the middle. Ball's got eyes into center field. Stopping at second is going to be Kuwahara, and it's going to be a base hit here for Miyazaki. That puts runners at first and second. And that looks like it is going to be the end of the night for Miyazaki, as he's going to be pinch run for. We'll have to see who they are bringing in. I wonder if it'll be Makihara, and if they will choose to go with him defensively. God is great says, yeah, the Bears gone crazy the last couple of years. Well, yeah, they've had quite a few bear attacks up in that area, and be interesting to see how they deal with that. A pinch runner has come into the ball game. It is going to be Kazuki Kamizato. So Kamizato coming in to pinch run. And it is Yudai Yamamoto who is at the plate. He's had a nice game tonight. He's 2 for 3. He's got a single and a home run. He scored 2 of the 5 runs, and he swings at a fastball and lines that foul into the netting down the first baseline, and the count is 0-1. The Jays giving false hope. I think an accomplishment for the Jays would be to score a run in a playoff game. Was it against the Twins when Vladimir Guerrero Jr. got picked off second base? I don't think they'd scored any runs in that series. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2. But at the rate they're playing, if they win the division and they get a chance to get a bye, which is where they would be right now, I think they're, about a half game ahead of the Tigers or 1 game ahead of the Tigers. So no balls and 2 strikes it is to Yamamoto as the right-hander holds to the set. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Fastball into the left-handed batter's box. It's going to 1-2 to Yamamoto. Yeah, the Jays' pitching is going to be their strength. There's no doubt about it. They have the pitching. Are they going to have the offense in the playoffs? And good pitching beats good hitting all day long at every level of the game. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Fastball misses outside. The count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes to Yamamoto. Waiting his turn on deck is the second baseman, Hayashi. We're not sure if we're going to get to that yet. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down and in, and it's now 3-2. Well, the runners are going to be on the move here on the next pitch to Yamamoto. Ito will have to try to keep him close here. I wonder if he'll try to spaghetti a move here at 3-2 back to the bag at second. Nope, here's the pitch. There go the runners, and it's a fastball that misses down and in, and it's a walk to Yamamoto. He's going to be aboard for the 3rd time here tonight. That's going to load the bases, and it's going to bring up the second baseman in Takuma Hayashi. And for Hayashi, well, he hit a home run his last time up, driving in a pair, and now he's got the bases loaded here with 2 gone in the 8th inning. So the BayStars looking to flex their muscles a little bit more. Hayashi grounded out to third and then to short in his first 2 trips, and then he hit the 2-run homer to right field after a rather lengthy at bat. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses outside, and the count is 1-0. Nowhere to put him. They're going to have to pitch to him. Not sure what the over-under in this game was for a whole coming into the game tonight, but certainly at this point, whatever that is, it's got a good chance of being an over if Hayashi does his job. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The count now goes to 1 ball and 1 strike. BayStar fans who are predominantly in left field are on their feet cheering on their ball club. And here comes the 1-1 pitch as the right-hander checks the runner and now delivers. Breaking ball misses outside. It's now 2-1. So his eyes are going to have to be lighting up here, one would think, for Hayashi. RJ says it was 4.5 or 5, depending on the book. Our other friend says it might have been 6.5. So that might have been the live update. There's a breaking ball taken for a called strike, and now the count goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. My guess would have been around 4.5 or 5.5. That's what I would have speculated coming into the game. Usually they have usually the run lines in the NPB are a little slow or a little lighter than in some of the other leagues. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As the pitch is a breaking ball swung on and grounded foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 2-2. Yeah, my guesstimate would have been 4.5 or 5.5, but 6.5 is a little bit on the high side, as I said, for NBB standards. But not saying you're wrong. Probably could have been that. Here's the 2-2 pitch. And there's a fastball that misses outside, and now that runs the count to full. The BayStars are lulling you to sleep. Yeah, well, the Dragons have done their part in this one too. It's been the BayStars have been very methodical. Now it's 3 balls and 2 strikes here to Hayashi. Nowhere to put the batter as the bases are loaded. Runners will be gone on the pitch. Here comes the 3-2. Fastball delivered, swung on, grounded down the third base line. What a play by Chavez, diving into foul territory. He gets up, he throws to first, and they say that the runner is safe. We're going to see if it pulled the first baseman Vossler off the bag. To me, it's worth a look to see, but we'll get a look at the replay ourselves on this one. We'll see if they're going to challenge. Chavez did a great job. His play was across the diamond just to stop the ball. As he dove to his right, makes a great play, able to get up to his feet. And when he fired across the diamond, it was just more to the outfield side. No, I don't think they're going to challenge. It doesn't look like. And that is going to be a single and an RBI here for Hayashi. And the first pitch is a fastball delivered to Kyoto that's taken for a called strike. So 6-0 lead for the BayStars. That's the third RBI here for Hayashi in this one. As it brings in Kuwahara with the 6th run of the ballgame. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded to the right side. Fielded on the backhand by Vossler. Flips it to the pitcher covering. It's going to be a ground out 3-1 for the third out of the inning. But Yokohama adds to their lead. They got 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors, and there were 3 runners left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, it is the BayStars 6 and the Dragons no score. Stay with us, everybody. Although I have to say, it may be a pitching change when we come back in just a couple of moments after this. Our friend says it auto-corrected. Yeah, there it did. We'll be right back in just a few.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. It looks like there's wholesale changes coming here for the BayStars. We'll just wait on that here in just a moment. It does look like that there will be obviously a new third baseman as the night looks like there's also a new first baseman. But we'll have to get you some of those changes as we move along here. What's most important to us is who's the new pitcher, and it is going to be a new pitcher for Yokohama, and that is going to be number 20, Yuya Sakamoto, on in relief. So as he will take over here, making his 22nd appearance, posting a 2.96 ERA. So Yuya Sakamoto on in relief, as he will be facing the 7, 8, and 9 hitters. And the first pitch is a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it is the left fielder, Sano, and he's there to make the catch. And with one pitch, we've got one away here in the 8th inning. And that is going to bring up the catcher in Takuma Kato. Or is it? Looks like we're going to have ourselves a pinch hitter here, as the Dragons have gone to the bench. So it is going to be number 27, Kaishi Suda. So he will come up here. So Suda coming off the bench. Getting an opportunity here to face Sakamoto. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is a 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Batting from the right side here against the lefty Sakamoto, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. The count goes even to 1-1. Bottom of the 8th inning, BayStars up 6-0 here over the Dragons. As the pitch is on the way, there's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and the count now goes to 1-2. And if it wasn't for Seiji Ubiashi, the Dragons wouldn't have any hits tonight, as he has both of their knocks. So here comes the 1-2 offering as Sakamoto works to the set, now delivers. Fastball swung on and lifted foul over on the first base side. The count remains at 1-2. Certainly for those of you who have hung in here with us tonight, we're very glad to have had you with us. Surprised that Dan Visaedo didn't get a at-bat against his former team yet tonight. And there's a breaking ball swung on and missed. And that is going to retire Suda for the second out of the inning. Slated to bring up the pitcher's spot, but I doubt we're going to see Ito. We'll see who the Dragons are going to recruit off the bench. Come and face the left-hander Sakamoto. It is going to be and that is going to be Kosuke Ukai. And the first pitch on the way to Ukai is a fastball swung on and missed. So no ball is in 1 strike as he's in the hole. And here comes the offering again from Sakamoto, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and missed. And the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes to the Dragons pinch hitter here. As again, he waits on the offering from the lefty Sakamoto. There's a breaking ball waved at and missed, and he makes quick work of Ukai. He has gone on strikes, 3 pitches to get him swinging. And that is the end of his at-bat. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We are through 8. We're moving to the top of the 9th inning. It is a 6-0 lead for the BayStars. It'll be the 9, 1, and 2 hitters to come to bat. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. You and me both, RJ. We hope tomorrow is more competitive, certainly for the Dragons. We'll be right back in just a bit.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OP-Chi baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve. We do have a left-hander coming on in relief for the Dragons. It's going to be Seiya Yoshida, who is going to take over here. He'll be the 4th pitcher used tonight by the Dragons. So Seiya Yoshida on in relief as the lefty is just completing his tune-up tosses. 23-year-old, as he is getting back onto the hill, only making his 2nd appearance of the season. He has not yet allowed a earned run. We do have a change behind the plate as well, as the Dragons are going to be turning to number 39. And that is going to be Shingu Usami, who is coming in behind the dish. As we mentioned, there are some other changes, but we'll have to get those for you as maybe the hitters come to bat. And it is supposed to be the pitcher's spot of the batting order to hit first here for the BayStars, and we would assume that there will be a pinch hitter for Sakamoto. We'll have to wait on that one as well. We haven't got the announcement quite yet. But it is going to be a round of applause for the former Chunichi Dragon. This is going to be Dan Visayedo. First time we've had a look at Visayedo in a while. The former Chicago White Sox. He was out of a job for a while, spent a long time with the Chunichi Ball Club. His game had diminished, but he has been signed to a contract as the first pitch is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count is 0-1. So no balls, 1 strike. Number 66, Visayedo. He looks a little strange. He's a big fella. He played a lot of first base. And there is a fastball swung on his lifted foul over on the first base side. The count now goes to 0-2. One of the things with Visayedo is that he was replaced in Chicago with the White Sox by Jose Abreu. And of course, Abreu was pretty good. Visayedo was pretty good. He had some good numbers with Chicago as well. A little surprising that no other major league team would take a run at him. Here's the 0-2. Fastball misses upstairs, and the count now goes to 1-2. But nice to see that he has landed in Yokohama. So here comes the 1-2 offering as the lefty kicks and delivers. It's a fastball swung on. This ball is lifted into center field. And coming in hard and sliding to make the catch is Okabayashi. And Visayedo, well, he kind of grins. He hits the ball hard. Ball just hung up enough there. That's what happens when you play at this level. Little line drives that have a little bit of a hump in it, they'll get caught. That's exactly what happens there as Okabayashi makes the catch. So 1 gone here in the inning. It'll bring up the right fielder in Tetsuo Abina. And for Abina, well, he's enjoyed a nice night tonight. He has singled twice and he has struck out twice. So 2 for 4 officially. And he takes a first pitch breaking ball for a called strike. So no balls and 1 strike. He's been able to raise his season average to 273. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that bounces up to the plate. Count goes to 1-1. If you had just joined us, Yokohama got the scoring going early in the first inning. They added another run in the second. They added another in the 5th and 2 more in the 7th and 1 more for good measure in the 8th. They have just ground down the Dragons tonight. There's a fastball swung on it. It is lined over the head of the shortstop into left field. And that is going to be a base hit. And rounding gets all the way to the wall. Rounding first and heading to second is going to be Abina. And he is going to reach there with a double. That ball looked like it was a single written all over it. And the next thing you know, the outfielder's making a hard left turn. Have to get to the wall. So he's going to get himself his 3rd knock of the night. I have to say, there's a lot of space in the outfield at the Vantolin Dome. We'll look at the replay of that one. And the ball gets on the carpet, it can get moving in a big hurry. If you don't cut it off, the ball's got the wall written all over it. And certainly the 2 outfielders where they were positioned, not able to cut it off, had to play it off the wall. Well, that brings Kuwahara to the plate with 1 gone and a runner at second. As the lefty holds to the set, now delivers. Fastball misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball, no strikes. Kuwahara tonight has scored a pair of runs for the BayStars. Officially, he's 0 for 3. He does have a walk. He had reached on a fielder's choice back in the first inning. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count goes even to 1-1. So a ball and a strike. If you guys are back tomorrow, we'd love to have you again. Same two teams, same channel, half hour earlier start. So here comes the 1-1 pitch as the lefty Yoshida holds set. Now fires. Breaking ball swung on, grounded to third. Backhanded by Chavis. He throws to first. That's going to retire Kuwahara. Ground out 5-3 for the second out of the inning. Bina had the hold. And that is going to bring up the left fielder in Kaida Sano. Well, for Sano, he comes to the plate. He is officially 1 for 4. He doubled home a run in the first inning, but then he has flown out, grounded out, and struck out in his other 3 trips. So the left-hander Yoshida ready to go again as he checks the runner at second. And here comes the pitch. It is a fastball that misses down, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes slated to come to bat. Supposed to be the 1, 2, 3 hitters in the order for the Dragons. That would be Okabayashi, Tanaka, and Ubiyashi. So here comes the 1-0. As the pitch on the way is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and now we're even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Another game that is going on in the Central. A 3-0 lead for the Tigers. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning over the Giants. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Yoshida holds set. He stares at the runner at second and now delivers. Fastball taken for a called strike, and now the count goes to 1-2. Taking a peek at the Pacific League, it is 7-2 for the Marines over the Hawks. And the Lions are enjoying a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the 9th over the Buffaloes. All the other games go off at 1800 hours or 6 o'clock local time in Japan. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. On its way, breaking ball swung on, chopped over the head of the pitcher, fielded on the run by the second baseman Tanaka, who throws to first. That is going to do it. Sano's gone on a ground out 4-3. He's out for the 3rd out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for Yokohama in their half of the 9th. No runs in the inning. There was a hit, no errors, and there was 1 runner stranded aboard. We're moving now to the bottom of the 9th inning. It is the Dragons trailing the BayStars 6-0. Slated to come to bat is the top of the order, and we'll see exactly what they can come up with here if they've got any rally in them. We'll be right back after this.
Steve here from outside his refrigerator that a lot of you like so much. So let's go inside. There's my hot sauces and other stuff. Let's see what we can do here for Freddie. Awesome game, Freddie. Keep up the good work. We love the baseball. So why don't we rip open Garbage Pail Kids just for you and the listeners. Large Marge, she belongs in the fridge. Liberty Libby, well, she belongs down here on the beer. Apple Corey, hey, he's pretty cool. Put him on that beer up here. And Target Margaret. All Series 3 Chrome Garbage Pail Kids. Freddie, back to you in the game, and everybody else, please enjoy everything he does and tip him nicely.
Welcome back, everybody. There is a pitching change again for the Yokohama DeNA BayStars as they are going to their bullpen. It is going to be a right-hander. It is going to be number 64. This is going to be Ko Nakagawa as he will take over in relief, making his 23rd appearance of the year. So he will be the third pitcher used tonight by the BayStars. So Ko Nakagawa on in relief. And he is slated to face, as we said, Okabayashi, Tanaka, and Ubiashi. Ubiashi with the only hits tonight. It does look like the BayStars are also going to make a change at shortstop, as they are going to bring in Ishikami. So there is a new shortstop defensively now here for the BayStars. Well, for Okabayashi tonight, 0 for 3. He has flown out twice, and he has grounded to short in his 3 trips. As the right-hander ready to kick and deliver. Breaking ball misses upstairs, and the count is quickly 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Okabayashi. Batting from the left side here against the right-handed throwing Nakagawa, who double clutches and delivers a fastball for a called strike. Count now goes even to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. And the right-hander kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Now the count goes to 1-2. 6-0 lead here Friday night. Baseball if you're in North America. Saturday if you are in Japan. Either way, glad you guys could pop in, whether you listen for a long time or little time, as there's a fastball swung on. It's popped up into shallow center field. Coming in on it, and with room to make the catch, is going to be the center fielder, Kuwahara. That is going to retire his opposite number, Okabayashi, for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. It's going to bring up the second baseman in Makiya Tanaka. Well, Tanaka steps to the plate 0 for 3 tonight as well. 2 groundouts and a flyout to his name. Average is dipped to 219 on the year. And the first pitch breaking ball is taken for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. Batting from the right side, the diminutive second baseman of the Dragons. Waits on the offering from Nakagawa, who kicks and does the double clutch and delivers. Breaking ball swung on and fouled away over on the first base side, and the count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So the talk tonight will be of Yu Takeda, who made his debut and pitched brilliantly. There's a fastball swung on. It is going to be lined into center field, and Tanaka's going to get a base hit. So that's the first time tonight somebody not named Ubiashi has got themselves a hit, and the Dragons have 1 aboard with 1 gone, and that'll bring up the aforementioned Seiji Ubiashi. And for Ubiashi, well, he is 2 for 3 tonight, 2 singles and a stolen base. As he comes to bat here for the 4th time this evening. Interestingly enough, the pitchers have only gone a couple batters over. There's a ground ball hit to second. They go over to second for 1, back to first, and it's not only going to be an inning-ending double play, it's going to be a game-ending double play. It's going to go in the books as a 4-6-3 double play, and that is going to do it as the Dragons are done here in this one, as they fall to the BayStars 6-0. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and nobody left aboard. The BayStars tonight only pitched to 3 batters over the minimum. A very effective night here by their pitchers. And we'll be back to wrap it up here in just a couple moments, right after this little timeout. We'll be right back.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. We'll give you the rundown of this one, the out-of-town scoreboard, and then we're going to call it a night. All the runs in this one were on the Yokohama side of the ledger. A leadoff single by Tetsuo Ibina, and he was erased on a fielder's choice, but Masayuki Kurihara made it safely to first. Up stepped Kaita Sano, and he delivered a RBI double into left field that got the first BayStar run of the game home, 1-0 after a half inning. In the second inning, the BayStars added to their lead when Yudai Yamamoto, the catcher, stepped up to the plate and hit a solo shot. That increased the scoreline to 2-0. And then in the fifth inning, they added another run after, with one out, Yoda Kyoto had singled. He was sacrificed to second by the pitcher Takeda. And then up stepped Tetsuo Ibina, and he knocked home the third run of the game, and that was 3-0 at that point for Yokohama. They added two more in the seventh, a leadoff single by Yudai Yamamoto, and he was brought home on a two-run homer off the bat of Takuma Hayashi. That made the scoreline 5-0. And then Yokohama, looking for blood, added one more in the eighth, a leadoff walk to Kurihara. And after two were retired, it was a single by Miyazaki, a walk to Yamamoto, and then Hayashi singled home Kurihara with the sixth run of the ballgame. And that is where that is at. Our friend says, have to be up earlier on Sunday. We'll see if he can be awake for the first pitch. Tomorrow, his first pitch will go off at 9:30 p.m. Pacific time. It'll be 12:30 on the East Coast. So hopefully you guys can make it in for that. Just taking a quick peek at the scores around the NPB, other Central League scores. Bottom of the ninth, Tigers have a 3-0 lead over the Giants. So that means tonight that the BayStars are 1.5 back, if that will hold, against the Giants. Bottom of the ninth inning, it is 1-0 Lions over the Buffaloes. And in the top of the ninth inning, at the PayPay Dome in Fukuoka, Marines are enjoying a 7-2 lead over the Hawks in that one. All right, everybody. Well, once again, appreciate all of you, Mike, RJ, our friend with the Chinese script, everybody else who had made it in here tonight, Mike Cool Hooks, and Harrison, and all the others. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow night. We'll be back at it all again. Same time, same channel, 9:30 Pacific, 12:30 on the East Coast. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you again soon.